In this video tutorial, we will see how we can summarize any article or blog post by passing the URL of that article or blog post, or how we can summarize the content on any website by passing the URL of that website and generating the concise summary of the content available on that website. So let's get started. So here is the output of how our application works. So here you can see that I have just passed the URL of a blog post. So let me just show you this blog post. So here you can see that this I have passed the URL of this blog post. So this blog post is about Vicuna, which is an open source large language model. So I've just passed this URL. I've just copied this URL and just passed this URL over here. So here you can see that I have just passed this URL over here. And when I just click on send from here, I just search for click on the send from here. So you can see that it generates a summary of the blog post that is available over on the website, which I showed you. So here is the concise summary of that blog post. And here is the URL, which I have submitted, the URL of the blog post. And here is the concise summary of that blog post. Vicuna has introduced an open source chat bot called Vicuna 13B. 13B represents 13 billion parameters. So Vicuna large language model comes with 13 billion parameters, which they claim outperforms OpenAI, ChatGPT, and Google Bird. Is in primarily evaluations. The model was trained by fine-tuning Llama on user-shared conversation collected from shared GPT, and the cost of the training was around $300 US, while the evaluation is not scientifically rigorous. So here you can see the concise summary of that blog post. I've just shown you the concise summary of this blog post. So you can see that this is a quite large blog post, and using the large language model, we have generated a concise summary of that blog post in 4 lines. So by reading these 4 lines, you can get the idea what is being covered in this blog post. So in this way, you can just pass the URL of any website over here, and you will be able to generate a concise summary of the content available on that website. So let's get started, and let me just show you the architecture diagram. How does it works? So here you can see that I have just created an architecture diagram, summarize content on a website with LangChain. Okay, and let me just slide with LangChain. Okay, that's fine. So what models we will be using? We will be using the open source model Llama 2. Along with this, we will also be using closed source model, OpenAI models as well. So first of all, I pass the URL, website URL at the start, and then we basically extract the data or content from that website. Then you know that every large language model has an input token limit. So input token limit means 1 token is equal to 4 English characters. So like you can see that GPT 3.5 OpenAI model has a token limit of 4096 tokens. So input token limit is 4096 tokens. So 1 token is equal to 4 English characters. So we cannot pass more than 16,000 English characters at the input of our large language, OpenAI large language model, right? But Llama 2 model also has an input token limit of 4096 token. And so it's almost 16,000 English characters. So we cannot pass more than 16,000 English characters at the input of the Llama 2 model. Okay, so now when we extract the data or extract the content from a blog post, you can see that some blogs are very lengthy and very long. So they are more than in 16,000 English characters. So we cannot pass that so much English character at the input of the large language model, because the large language model has an input limit of 16,000 English character. And if our blog post is more than 16,000 English characters, so we cannot pass that blog post directly to our large language model. So what we do is first we extract the data from any URL which we have passed, either that URL is of any article on any blog post or any other thing. So, okay, so first we extract the data from that URL, then we split that data into multiple chunks. Okay, so we just define the chunk size like 1,000 or 2,000 English characters. So in each chunk, we will have around 1,000 English characters saved. Okay, so first of all, we'll extract the data from the URL, and then we'll divide the data into multiple chunks, and each chunk will have around 1,000 to 2,000 English characters. Then we generate a concise summary of that text chunk. Okay, so then we will generate a concise summary of this text chunk. So if we have 10 text chunks, so we'll generate a concise summary for each of the text chunk, and then we will generate a summary of these summaries using OpenAI and Llama 2, and to generate a concise summary of the text in the text chunk, we'll also be using OpenAI models and Llama 2 model as well. Okay, so it's your option. If you want to use OpenAI model, you can use OpenAI model. And if you want to use Llama 2 model, you can use the Llama 2 model. So now we will generate a concise summary of the text chunk for each of the text chunk. If we have 15 text chunk, we will generate 15 concise summary. So we will generating a concise summary for each of the text chunk. And then we'll generate a summary of all these summaries. Okay. And here we will have the end response from our large language model, the summary of the content or the URL which we have passed. So this is the architecture diagram. So let's move towards the code part. So here you can see that I have just created an empty folder for this project. Now I will just go to PyCharm and create a new project over here. So here I am in the PyCharm. So first of all, I will just go to File and create a new project from here, and then select a folder which I've created from here. Okay, so I will just click over here, and here I will just, this is the folder which I've created for this project. Okay, so these two matches, okay, that's fine. And I'm using Python 3.10 as the base interpreter. So now I will just click on create and create a new project over here. So now it's creating a virtual environment. So this might take few seconds. We have installed, or now we have created a virtual environment. So now I will just go over here and click on file. And first of all, I will just create a requirements.txt file. In the requirements.txt file, I will be listing all the packages that are required in this project. So I will require Flask because we will be integrating our large language model with Flask and creating an API for our large language model. And as we are using LangChain framework to build our large language model, so I will be using that LangChain package. So here I will just write first our Flask, and here I will write. So these are the two packages or libraries that are required in this project. And now I will just go to the terminal over here, and here I will just write pip install -r requirements.txt. So let me install Flask and LangChain package over here. So this might take few seconds. Okay, so all these packages are already installed on my site. So you can see that requirements already satisfied. But if you are installing these packages for the first time, so this might take few seconds. So now you can see that the required packages are being installed. So now I will just go over here. So we will divide this complete tutorial into 3 parts. We will go step by step so we can have a clear understanding what we are doing. So first of all, I will just create a file by the name part1.py. As the main aim of this tutorial is to learn how we can create an API for our large language model. The large language model can be from OpenAI models, or it can be Llama 2 model, or any Falcon model. Okay, so our aim is to create an API for our large language model, either it is from OpenAI models or any Llama 2 model or any Falcon model. But first of all, we will create a simple Flask API that prints hello world. So let's start with creating a simple Flask API that prints hello world. So first of all, I will write from Flask import Flask. So this is very simple. So if you don't have any prior knowledge about Flask API, this is very simple and you will be able to understand it by following the way. Okay, so I will just write app is equal to Flask, and here I will just write, okay. So here I am just initializing Flask over here, and first of all, I've imported Flask, and now I'm just initializing the Flask. Okay, so now I will just do app.root. Okay. So now here you can define the methods as get or post. So let me explain you about get or post method. So the get method is used to retrieve data from the server. The post method is used to send data to the server to create or update a source. So here we are just creating a simple Flask API that prints hello world. Okay, so let me just update this and write hello. So now I can just create a function over here. You can write any name for the function. So let me just write over here, define form, and this function will return hello world. Okay. So this function will return us hello world. Okay. And now what I will do is the last thing which is left is now if dash dash name is equal to name, then we will just write over here app dot run debug is equal to. So what does debug is equal to true does? For example, if I have run this Flask API, if I make any change into my code, and if as I refresh it, my on my API, that code will be updated. I don't need to restart or rerun my script. Okay. So app.run debug is equal to true. Now now I will just create a simple Flask API that will print hello world. So let's run this. I will just write Python part1.py. And let's see how does it work. So I will just copy this URL from here. So either you can open it on your browser, or you can just open it on, or either you can just run it on Postman as well. So I will just show you both things. So I will just click this URL from here. So now you can see over here, it's saying not found. The requested URL was not found on the server. If you have entered the URL manually, please check your spelling and try again. So this is the correct error. Why we are getting this error? Because this will return hello world on this API dash hello on this or on this endpoint. Okay, so we will get the hello world on this endpoint. So we have not written our endpoint correctly. So if I just go back over here, and if I just write over here, hello, so now I have just written the correct endpoint and it's printing hello world. Okay, so now let me just show you the advantage of debug is equal to true. Hello world, moi. Okay, so let me just now I'm not rerunning the script, so I'm just refreshing it from here. Hello world from Muhammad Moi. So we have created a simple Flask API which is printing hello world from Muhammad Moi. Okay, so that's great. Let's go back. So this is the advantage of using debug is equal to true. So this is all from part 1. Let's move towards the part number 2. In the part number 2, we will explore some further things. So let me just escape the script. So now I will just go over here and just write part 2.5 from here. Okay, so let me just copy this code from here and just paste it over here, and let's close these files. Okay, so first of all, what I will do is I will just create another app.root method over here, and here I will just write data, and here I will just write methods is equal to get comma. Okay, and here I will just creating a function. So if so. So now here I've just created a function by the name myData. And first, now I will just import some further libraries over here, which include Quest. And further, I will also import JSONify from here. So these are the libraries which I am just importing. So now, first of all, let me just show you. Here I will just write if request dot method is equal to get. Then what I will write over here is, so this is a mistake. Request dot method is equal to get from here. Then I will write sample data is equal to, and here I will be writing message here, and here I will write hello Flask API. Okay, and here I'm just using get method. Okay, so And here I will just printing the data over here. The data which I will printing over here is 1, 2, 3. So I will be just printing the data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the data which I will be printing over here. Add comma from here and just copy this and just add it over here and just write if the order goes, then the data I will be printing will be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and here we'll be using post method. Okay, so that's look fine. Uh, Everything looks good. One thing which I'm just left with is to return and just write over here. Return JSONify, and we will be getting the sample data as the output from here. So that's so good. Everything looks fine. So let's run this and let's explore some things, and we will be using Postman now. So if I just write over here Python 2.py and let's execute this. So I will just copy this URL from here. Let's first check one browser. Okay, so if I just click over here and let me just navigate my screen. And so if I just write over here, hello. So this is printing hello world from Muhammad Moin. That is fine. The next thing which I want to do is I will just write data over here. And okay, so the function my data did not return a fat valid response. The function either return none or ended without a return statement. As we have set the get or post method from here, so that is why it was giving error. So if I just go back to my postman from here, now you can see over here, I have just copied this URL and just calling this root method from here. So I'm just calling this app.root method in my postman. And you can see that here I've just set the post method. You can also set the get method. So I'm just setting the post method. And if I just click on send, so you can see that I get the data and it's saying hello Flask API post method. And if I just set the get method and click on send, it says, okay, so here is a small error. Let me just fix this up. So here I will just write return JSONify sample data. Okay, and let's go towards here and let's execute it. So if I just click on now, okay, so you can see that I get the data from here and hello Flask API get method. So this works amazing. So now you can see that I was missing the return statement. So I've added the return statement. So if I just go back to the browser now, you can see that previously I was just facing this error. So now I have added the return statement. And now you can see that I'm just getting data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it is calling the get method. And now you can see that hello Flask API get method. Okay, so I told you that now you can see that in browser it is using the get method because I told you we use get method when we want to retrieve the data from the server, and we use post method when we want to send the data to the server. And currently in the browser, you can see that it's using the get method because we are trying to retrieve the data from the server. So here you can see that it's using get method because we are trying to retrieve the data from the server. And if we want to use, send the data to the server, we will use the post method. So this is the quick introduction or beginner introduction. So let's move towards our original part now. So now we will see how we can create a Flask API of our large language model. And we will test that API in Postman. So you can see over here I have just passed my Flask API over here. So this is all my Flask API. And here I have just passed the URL of the article or blog, or you can just pass the URL of any website. So here now in the end, we have the submitted URL, which we have submitted over here. And here is the summary of that complete blog post. So I have passed the URL of a blog post of Vicuna, which is a large language model. And here I just get the summary of that blog post. Like this blog post outlines a research paper that evaluates the performance of 5 different chatbots: Llama, Alpaca, ChatGPT, Bard, and Vicuna using GPT-4. The evaluation found that Vicuna outperformed the other models, and the other details are provided. So if you just see the blog post over here, So if I just, let me just show you the blog post. So you can see that this is a very long blog post, and I've just passed this URL of this blog post. This blog post is about Vicuna, which is a large language model and released recently. Okay, and I've just passed the URL of this blog post over in the Postman, and just I got the summary of this complete blog post. So let's dive into details. How did we did this? Okay, so let me just show you the architecture first. So first of all, I have already explained this architecture, but let me go through this again. So first of all, I will just pass the website URL, and then I will extract the data from the website. So just remember this first thing. First of all, I will just pass the URL of the website and extract the data from the website. So if I just go towards the code, I have already written the code. So let me explain you the code. So here I'm using Selenium URL loader so that user can pass the URL, and using Selenium URL loader library, we will extract the data from that website. So here you can see that I'm just calling Selenium URL loader, and you can see that in the Postman, the user passed the URL. So that URL will be passed over here, and we will just extract the data from the website, and this data will be saved in the variable text. Okay. So if I just go below down over here, so here you can see that I've created a function extract data website so that a user can pass a URL and will be able to extract the data from the website. So here you can see that I'm just calling this function over here, this app.root method, in which I'm just calling summary generate as my endpoint. So here I'm just calling this function extract data from website, and here I'm just passing the URL. So here import URL will be, we have the URL that the user passed into the Postman, and in the import URL, we have this URL. And we are just passing the URL over here, and we will extract the data from the website, and that data or content of the website will be saved in the variable text. Okay. So this is the step number one. So now after extracting the data, like you know that each large language model has an input token limit. Like Llama GPT 3.5 OpenAI model has an input token limit of 4096 token. One token is equal to 4 English characters, so we cannot pass more than 16,000 English characters at the input. Similarly, Llama 2 model has also input token limit of 4096 token as well. So 19 token is equal to 4 English characters. So we cannot pass more than 16,000 English characters at the input of Llama 2 model or either OpenAI GPT 3.5 model. So we have an input token limit of 4096 characters, 4096 tokens, which is equal to 16,000 English characters. Okay. So we have input token limit of 16,000 English characters. So when we extract the data from a website, we cannot say that it will be less than 16,000 characters. Like from here, if we just extract this complete article block, so I can see that this will be much more than 16,000 English characters. So we cannot pass the data more than the extracted data contain more than 16,000 English characters. We cannot pass that extracted data directly to the large language model. So what we do is we just split the data into multiple different chunks, and each chunk will have 2,000 English characters. So you can just change this limit. You can have 5,000 English characters in each chunk. You can have 1,000 English characters in each chunk. So we will split our data into multiple chunks, and we will just set the character limit. Then I will generate a summary for each of the text chunks. So I will generate, for example, if I have 10 text chunks, I will generate a summary for each of the text chunk. And then I will generate a summary of all the text chunk summaries which I have created. So I will just generate a summary for each of the text chunk. Then I will generate the summary of all these text chunk summaries. Okay. So this is how it works. So let's go to the code from here. So now you can see that split text chunk and summary generator. So first of all, using character text splitter, I'm just splitting my text into small chunks, and each chunk will have 1,000 characters, and there will be the overlap of 20 characters in each of the text chunks. So each chunk will have maximum number of 1,000 characters. Okay, and here I'm just splitting the text into different text chunks. Okay, so now now you can see that we have split our text into text chunks. So now the next step is to generate a summary of all these text chunks. So we have split our text into multiple text chunks. So now we will want to generate a summary of all these text chunks. So let's see how does it works. So first of all, I'm just defining initializing my Llama 2 model over here. So you can see here I've initialized the Llama 2 model, and here I've initialized the OpenAI model wrapper. So so here we are using quantized model version of Llama 2 model. So Llama 2 model, so here the quantized version is in the .bin format. Okay. So if I just show you, so as the Llama 2 model is very efficient, but it has a very large uses a very large memory size. And to run Llama 2 model on your local CPU with limited RAM and memory, so to do this, we just optimize our Llama 2 model into GGML format. So in the optimize, what is the advantage of optimizing Llama 2 model? So it means that we can easily run the optimized model on our local CPU with limited RAM and memory constraints as well. So here you can see that we have the model in GGML format, and we will be using this optimized model or optimized Llama 2 model with 13 billion parameters. So here I'm just using this optimized Llama 2 model with 13 billion parameters. So what model I'm using? So let me just show you. So if we just go to file and versions from here, so you can see that we have Llama 2 model with 13 billion parameters, which is in the GGML format. And if you just go below down from here, so I will be using this 4-bit model. Basically, I have 8-bit RAM in my local system. Okay. So this 4-bit model will take around 7 GB of, I have 8 GB RAM in my local system, 8 GB RAM. And this 4-bit model will take around, you can say that around 6 GB of my memory. Okay. So, or it will take around 6 GB of the memory size. So as I have 8 GB RAM in my local system, so this is fine. But if you can see that here we have the 8-bit model over here as well. This 8-bit model will take around 9.6 GB of the memory. Okay, but you can see that I have the RAM of only 8 GB. So this is not fine because it will take 9.6 GB of memory, and I have the RAM constraint, like I have the RAM of 8 GB. Okay, so this 8-bit model will consume 9.6 GB of memory, and I have a RAM of 8 GB. So I will be using this 4-bit model. This 4-bit model will consume a RAM of, I told you, 6 GB. It will consume a memory of 6 GB, and I have a RAM of 8 GB. So this 4-bit model will consume a memory of 8 GB, and this 4-bit model will consume a memory of 6 GB, and I have a RAM of 8 GB. So this is what is in short. So you can just click over here and download this model. Okay. So I have already downloaded this model, and I have this model. Okay. Let me just show you where I just placed this model. Let's just reopen it again. So you can see that in models, you can, this folder, in models folder, I have just placed this Llama 2 model with 7 billion parameters, and I'm using Llama 2 chat model, and it's in the .bin format, which I showed you. I have already downloaded it from the Hugging Face, and the model size is around 7.32 GB. Okay. So I have just showed you the model. It's in the models folder, and you can see over here. So let's go ahead, and you can see over here, I have defined the model type as Llama, and the maximum new token means the maximum number of tokens which we will get in the output is 128. So in the output, we will have maximum number of 560 English characters, and I have just set temperature value a bit positive. I have already told you temperature value is range from 0 to 1. It means how creative our model is. So if the temperature value is 0, it means the model is not creative. It is not taking any bets. But if the temperature value is 1, it means the model will be creative. It will, it might generate a wrong output, but it will take bets, and it will be very creative as well. Okay, and here I've visualized the OpenAI wrapper. So first of all, I will show you how you can implement this by using OpenAI model, and then I will show you how you can do this by using, how you can do the summarization by using Llama 2 model. Okay, and to implement or to use the Llama 2 model, we are using C transformers library. C transformer library provide bindings for the models that are in the GGML format, and you can see that our model is in the GGML format. Okay, so C transformers library provide bindings for the models in the GGML format. Okay, so now here you can see that I'm just so here you can see that we have split our text into text chunks. Okay, and if I just go below down over here, you can see that I'm just calling the load summarize chain function. And in this load summarize chain, which I have imported over here, I am just using the chain type as MapReduce. So how does it work with MapReduce chain type? So let me just show you. So now you can see that here, over here, let me just circle it out. So over here, if I just increase this, I think this is not good. Let me just do this. So all this work is being done by using load summarization chain function. So, okay. So implement this, we will be using load summarization chain function. So, okay. So all this work will be done by load summarize chain function, and load summarize chain function, we are using the chain type as MapReduce. So what a MapReduce chain type does it? First, it generates the summary of each of the text chunk, and then it generates the summary of all these summaries. Okay, so then it generates a summary of all these summaries, and then we get a natural response from the large language model as our output. Okay, so if I just go below over here, so you can see that we are using chain type as MapReduce. So we are just passing the text chunks into the chain type MapReduce. So what it does, it basically generate a summary of each of the text chunk, and then it generates a summary of all these text chunk. Okay. So here we have the verbose 2. So we have a very detailed answer over here. And now you can see that I'm just calling this function over here as well. And from here, we get the summary, and I will just show the output response. In the output response, I will be showing the summary as well as I will show the encoded URL as well. Okay. So I will be using openai model. So if I just write then. So let's see how does it work. So I will just go below down from here and run on part 3.5. And let's see, I will try to give you a detailed overview. How does it works? So I will just copy this URL from here. And I will just go to the postman from here. Okay, so I will just paste this URL over here. Okay, and here I will just write the key value as URL. And here I will pass the URL. So I will just go above to my website from here. Just copy this URL from here, and I will just go back to the postman from here. And here I will just pass this URL, and then I will just click on send. Okay, so what I am just getting is summary generator. So what is the error? Okay, I just got the error. So basically, first of all, when I just pass the URL, so please don't make this mistake which I've made. Okay, so again, go over here, just copy this URL and just paste this, plus what endpoint you are using. So let me just show you. So you are using this endpoint. So if I just go show you the app, so we are using this endpoint summary generate. So I will just go to postman from here, and I will just first add this endpoint. Then I will just write URL from here, and here I will just pass the URL over here. So let me just show you. So I will just copy this URL from here and pass this. So let's execute this and see what response do we get. So let's see what's happening in the backend. So you can see that currently it's executing. So this is what is being done in the backend, and so this might take few seconds before we get the answer. Here you can see that we have the 15. So what is 15? So if you just go over here, I have just printed the text chunk. So we have divided our complete text into 15 text chunks. So we have 15 chunks. Okay. And each chunk will have maximum number of 1000 English characters. Okay. So now you can see that these are each of the chunks. So we will have, this is the first chunk. Okay, so this is the second chunk, this is the third chunk, this is the fourth chunk, this is the fifth, this is the sixth, and this is the seventh, this is the eighth, this is the ninth, this is 10, this is 11, this is 12, this is 13, this is 14, this is 15. So you can see that we have 15 different text chunks which I have counted over here. Okay, so now you can see that we have the concise summary for each of the text chunks. This is the first chunk summary. This is the second text chunk summary. This is the third. This is the fourth. This is fifth. This is sixth. This is seven. This is eight. This is nine. This is 10. This is 11. This is 12. This is 13. This is 14. And this is 15. So these are the 15 text chunk summary, and now we will get the final summary. So this is our final summary of the blog. So this is how we do it. So if I just go over here, so you can see that this is the final summary. Okay. So now we have done this using OpenAI model, and the final summary is the Vicuna model has developed, and the Vicuna team has developed an open source chatbot, Vicuna 13B, which outperforms other model. Primary evaluation using GPT-4 shows that Vicuna 13B achieves 90% capability of bar ChatGPT. So here are all the summary details. So you can see that a very long blog post is being summarized into 5 lines. Okay, so now let's see how we can do this with Llama 2 model. So I will just comment this out from here. And now I will be using this Llama 2 model from here. Okay, so now you can see that I'm just using the Llama 2 model from here. So now you can see that I've just said app is equal to run is equal to debug is equal to. So debug is equal to true. So it has automatically started executing. And let's see what response do we get. So I will just go to the Postman and just click on run. Okay. So I am back in the Postman over here. I will just click on send from here, and let's see now what response to get. With Llama 2 model, it will take around 5-10 minutes to generate the response. So let's wait, and as I get the response, I will show you. So here is our response. So you can see that here is the summary of that complete blog post. This blog post introduces Vicuna 13B, an open source chatbot built upon an enhanced dataset and scalable infrastructure. So you can see that we have got a very detailed response with Llama 2 model as well. Through fine-tuning a Llama-based model and use shared conversation collected from sharegpt.com, Vicuna 13B has demonstrated competitive performance compared to other open source models. So this is in this way you can generate a summary of any article, blog post, or any website on content available on that website. So that's all from this video tutorial. I hope you have learned about Flask API, how you can create a Flask API of your large language model. See you all in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.